guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Letitia and this is That's So Letitia. And to all of my new viewers, supporters, subscribers, welcome guys, and thank you so much for clicking on this video. I hope you enjoyed the content. And to all of my returning viewers, supporters, subscribers, welcome back guys. As always, it is a pleasure to see you. Without further ado, let's jump right into this video. So I'm getting ready to go to a med spa opening down here in Las Vegas, Nevada, Henderson, Nevada to be exact. And yeah, so let's do what it do. So if you watched my previous video, I will link it up in here. I had a little rant. I had a moment on that video, rightfully so. I went into Sephora and I grabbed the new foundation by Patrick Starr, Turn Up the Base. That foundation is chef's kiss. But the lighting in Sephora, along with the assistance I received at the time in picking out the shade that I purchased, just really did me dirty. I mean, again, at this point, let me just show y'all what I looked like. Sephora, Maybelline Jackson. Count your days, girl. Cause I am coming, you hear me? I'm coming to complain about them lights in there. So yeah, it was a mess. And I vowed in that video to return to Sephora to voice my displeasure over the lighting situation and to be rematched to make sure this time that I had the proper shaded foundation. I did return, but I was assisted by someone that actually took the time to go through the various undertones and shades with me, so it was a much better experience. But as a result of me going in and re-selecting a proper shade, I also picked up another product from One Size. Now, you guys know I'm a creature of habit. I would have picked this up as my primer because I love this. This is the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Water Powder Serum. But I'm not going to use that today. Today I'm going to use, this is the One Size Secure the Sweat Dry Till Dawn Primer. This here helps to create a soft matte finish. It was recommended by the young lady who assisted me in store. So we're going to use this today and see how well my makeup holds under the light of taking pictures and smiling and eating and drinking. So the One Size Secure the Sweat Waterproof Mattifying Primer, it retails for $34. And for $34, you are getting a 1 fluid ounce or a 1 ounce size container. This one states a sweat-proof, waterproof, aluminum-free primer that absorbs excess sweat and oil to visibly tighten pores, mattify skin, and prolong makeup wear. It's for normal, oily, and combination skin. Just taking some here. And I'm going to try and focus in my T-zone area, which is where, of course, those of us with combo skin, that's where the oil tends to show up, is in the T-zone area. I wonder why is that? Like, why is that where the oil is centered at? I'm super excited about going to this spa opening. I personally know the doctor who is having the opening and she's so deserving of it. I'm very excited for her. She's extremely knowledgeable and has helped me out a few times with some of the concerns that I have regarding you know, my skin health and things of that nature. And then this is also like a good way to actually be able to get out and network. So yeah, and I'm going to bring you guys along with me, which is nice. So make sure to stick around at the end of this video. I'm going to put like a small clip of, you know, my experience there this evening, maybe like a little montage of sorts. But yeah, and this is color correcting. I'm using Huda Beauty's color corrector in shade Papaya to do so. And then for my lower face, I'm going to use Fenty Beauty's Match Stick in Pumpkin. And as I always do, I'm now going to set the color corrector by using Fenty Beauty's Instant Retouch setting powder. This is in Nutmeg. I'm just going to apply it using a Amazon reusable powder puff. I used to get these and I would use it one time and then throw it away until one day something was like, you know what, try and just throw them in the wash on delicate and see what happened. That was such a genius idea because it saved me money. I wasn't every week having to rebuy these. They're reusable. Just put them in the dryer, or just put them in the washer on delicate, put a little bit of detergent in there with them, and they come right back to life like they are brand new. And now y'all, for the moment of truth. Let me readjust myself. Hold on. For the moment of truth, this is now going to be my second time using this foundation. Only difference is this shade is different. Okay, so the first video, I was color matched to 45G. This time, my color match is dark, deep 25N, neutral undertones. I was really fixated on, since I have yellow undertones, all of my complexion products needed to be golden, needed to be warm. This one is neutral. And according to Jalen, who is the associate at Sephora that helped me, just because you have warm undertones, sometimes when you use a product that has golden as its kind of undertone, it pulls out more warmth than you need, thus leaving you looking like a Oompa Loompa. So the neutral undertones just kind of help to neutralize some of the golden undertones that you may have, so it doesn't, it's not such a stark, you know, wear. But yeah, so here we go. All right, and I'm going to apply it using my e.l.f. Ultimate Blending Brush. Oh, okay. Oh, wow. See, Jalen did her thing. I don't see it. This is what we like. I do not see the foundation. Wow. That's, I'm very impressed right now. I do not see the foundation. So for concealer, I'm going to use by Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer in shade Chestnut. Now I'm just going to take a damp beauty blender and blend in the concealer. And now I'm going to take the Tower 28 in shade 15. This is also a concealer. And I'm going to put that right here. And I'm just going to use the same damp beauty blender and blend it in. Now on to my powders. So the first powder I'm going to use is by Huda Beauty. This is the Easy Bake Loose Setting Powder in Peach Pie. This is such a early morning for me. Normally on Sundays, which is what today is, or at least the day that I'm filming this video on, normally that's the day reserved for doing laundry, catching up on vlogs, sitting and just kind of pondering where's my life going wrong because I have to show up for work on Monday morning. But this is a pleasant change to actually have a event to go to where I can network and, you know, potentially meet other content creators, as well as just support a friend and my sister, who also is part of this spa. Kind of wish there were more Sundays like this where I actually had some sort of event to go to. But I will take this one, and hopefully when I get there I can network enough to where I can make other busy Sundays happen. So now moving on to my overall powder, I'm going to use also by One Size. This is their Ultimate Blurring Setting Powder in shade Dark or Deep. And I'm just going to apply the powder very lightly, very demure, using a e.l.f. pointed powder brush. And for bronzer, I'm going to use by NYX Cosmetics. This is the Buttermelt Bronzer in shade Dew Butter. Going to apply using a Sephora Pro bronzing brush in number 80. Moving on to my eyes, I'm going to use my finger to prep for my eyeshadow. I'm going to use by P. Louise. This is a eyeshadow primer or eyeshadow base, and this is in shade 5. Just going to apply a little bit to my finger. Now the eyeshadow I will be using, this is the Holiday Release by Pat McGrath. This is her 2024 holiday palette. Luminous Legends Mega Eyeshadow Palette. Few things before I even open it. If you guys are interested in Pat's products, but maybe the price point is just, it's not given, and you can't justify that price point, her end of the year palettes are half the price of her original palettes, and you get more shades. There's usually more of a variety. I would say definitely pick up one of her holiday palettes. I mean, it's holiday issued, but you can use it all throughout the year. And these are really good quality palettes. What I have found in her holiday issued palettes, especially like, I want to say the one year before last, because last year I was not feeling it. These are usually around $78 or so, as opposed to her regular mothership palettes that retail anywhere from like $120 to like $140. But with the exception of last year, I don't know what went wrong. She had a moment because the Bridgerton edition was very chalky. I actually purchased it to do a video, and then I didn't do the video, or I don't recall doing a video. I can't find it. I know I returned the palette because it was very bland, very washed out, just blah. But yeah, so this is the palette we will be using. I am a huge fan of her holiday palettes. These are the other two from her that I own, so I do collect them because, I mean, it's a good buy. You know, you get various finishes, you get various shades, more than her pinks and golds that a lot of people tend to just kind of be over because they're seeing it be introduced repetitiously throughout her mothership palettes. So yeah, but let's get to it. This one you get 1, 2, 3, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. This one you get 15 shades, as I stated, of various finishes. We have some metallics, shimmers, and mattes. So I'm going to start by, yeah, see, for hers, there's really no transition shades. That I will say. Let me see if there's one in one of the previous palettes I can use. Yep, there is. So I'm going to, and for this one, you can just use like a, if you desire to do so, you could use like a flesh toned transition shade. Just using a nude matte. And I'm applying it using my Morphe M504 brush. And now I'm going to use this deep matte brown. Sticking with the same brush, applying it to the back outer portion of my eye. Yeah, her shadows always give great pigment. That I will say. And you know, some people are hesitant to get her holiday palettes because they tend to call them like the value palettes, and they have stated that they don't feel like it's the same quality of her regular palettes. I have used both, and I will say personally that has not been my experience. The palettes are great quality regardless of if you get the more expensive mothership or if you get the holiday palettes, again with the exception of the Bridgerton themed palette. I don't know what was going on there, but I didn't care for that one. And since the outfit that I'm going to be wearing is, at least the shirt, is black and white striped, I don't want to go too crazy on color. So let's see, I'm going to use, let's use this shimmer shade right here. Applying that with my finger. Do y'all see that? There is nothing lacking about pigment in that shade. Nothing. So I'm going to pause on that one for a second, and I'm going to put beneath it this matte shade here using a Morphe M433 brush. And I didn't want to mess up my eyes, so I just left it there. We will apply it on top. But this is pretty much setting like the background for that shimmer shade. Now I'm going to go back in to this shimmer shade, applying it with my finger. Now I'm going to use, where's the brush? This is a Morphe M222 brush. And I'm going to use this shimmer shade. This is a really pretty one, this one here. Now this one I will apply by the inner tear duct. Love that although they are shimmers, they most certainly hold their own. So you can tell the color difference between them. It doesn't get lost just looking like a bunch of glitter on your face. And now moving on to blush, I'm going to use by Mented Cosmetics, the line that just relaunched. So happy for us. I'm going to use Clay Too Much. This is what it looks like. Applying it using a pointed blush brush by Eco Tools. When your eye is this bold, you don't need a bold blush, especially this early in the day. I just looked and I'm like, okay, did I go too heavy on the eye? But yeah, we'll see how it all comes together once everything is done. It's like that makeup meme that I saw recently where it was like, this was supposed to be just an everyday look and it turned into full on glam. Like, I feel like that's what happened. Okay, moving on to lips. Am I on time? Good, perfect. Okay, moving on to lips. I'm going to first line my lips using by MAC. This is a chestnut colored lip liner in the shade name Chestnut. And then to fill in my lips, I'm going to use a soft matte lip bullet by Huda Beauty. This is in the shade name Last Night. And now I'm going to start setting my entire face using by, this is Charlotte Tilbury's Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. And then I'm going to go over that by applying a little bit of One Size On Till Dawn Mattifying Waterproof Setting Spray. All right guys, so this is the final look. Off camera, I applied some wispy clustered lashes by Ardell, and I was not feeling that drastic raccoon under eye I gave myself. I feel like I was just having a moment. I was overthinking too much, so I just went under, used some concealer to kind of mask majority of it, and I'm really liking the vibe now because what it did was it was almost like I underpainted that very bold dark under eye, so it's still kind of there, but it's in the background, so I'm liking that. I don't think I will do that again, but for today it's appropriate. So that is all I have for you good people. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like it, make sure to give me a thumbs up. And as always, in the description box below, there will be a complete list of all products used to achieve this look. Guys, be well, stay safe, exercise self-care. It is not a privilege, but a necessity. Make sure to check in on your strong friends after you check in with yourself. And if you are still in the mood to continue to watch, stick around because, as I stated, I am going to a spa opening, so I'm going to insert just a few bits and nibbles of that at the end of this video. But until next time, we shall chat again soon.